Hi, the purpose of this video is to get you used to and remember the things that you have to do in order to place students into sessions for the ACT Aspire test. So I'm going to walk you through several things. However, I want you to know that you need to have two things in place prior to getting going. Number one, you need to have a list of all your students and what rooms you would like them in. You cannot have just one large session. So if you're going to be putting them in rooms of 30, figure out where the breaks are. Also figure out where you want students who have IEPs, who have special needs, who have extended time, for instance, who have the accommodation to have portions of the test read to them. They need to be in separate rooms. And finally, those students who you know have behavior issues should be placed into rooms where you know that they will possibly be successful. The second list that you need to have is this list of who is going to be proctoring each of the sessions. If you don't have that right now, it's something that you can add later. It does take a little bit of time to do that. However, if you are ready for that, I'll show you how to do that very quickly for all sessions. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to go to the login for the ACT Aspire. You'll notice that it is your email address, and then when you log in with the correct password, see if I can do that. Nope. All right, try it again. Okay, there we go. You're going to see your dashboard, and on it, it will have a list of schools, your school's sessions set up. You can see that this is set up for Horizon right now. I'm going to change over to Shabazz and do this example for Shabazz City High School. Make sure you're on your school when you're working through this. Most of you won't have any choice. So I'm going to start by creating a test session. So under the summative tests, because that's what the Aspire is, I'm going to click on Create a Test Session. It gives me options of what I need to do for this particular session. I'm going to only talk about creating a single session at a time. Creating multiple sessions requires a little bit of different work, and we can take a look at that later. So first thing I'm going to do is take a look at what test I'm going to test. The Aspire is an early high school test, so it's both 9th and 10th grade take the same test essentially. I'm going to start with the early high school English test. You'll notice that it's summative, spring of 2017. It is the English test, and we're going to do this in the mode of being online. So clicking that sets up the test. The test dates, by clicking on the calendar, you see that the first possible date to test is April 24th, 2017. We're going to click on that, and it will automatically populate the end date, which is set by the state at May 8th. Now, when during the day can people log in? I'm going to change this from the standard 8 o'clock to 4 p.m. to 7 o'clock. This way, this allows staff members to log in prior to students prior to 8 o'clock. So if a staff member wants to log in and check things at 7:45, they can do that. You'll notice it's also set up for the days of the week. Now, here's the first step that I have to take in a system that I'm going to develop. I need to label this session. Remember, this is English. So I'm going to label it with the high school name, Shabazz City High School. This is I'm going to put grade 9 students in. I'm going to say this is reading 1, session 1. So again, I've created a system that is different from anything else in the district. It will also allow me to find pretty quickly what's happening. In fact, I'm going to put in GR for grade to make it very clear. Shabazz City High School, grade 9, reading session 1. Finally, at the bottom of this, you'll see the proctor caching details. You don't need to do anything with this except to ensure that it's turned on. Once you've done that, click Create Test Session. And while it's doing that, you'll see that what comes up is the details of the test session. First thing is, you will not be able to close some of the test sessions that will be released. That ability will be released later. which is a good thing, so there won't be any accidental closings. But here are the details. Here's the name of the session. It tells me what test and what mode it's given, which school it's associated with, the windows, and the times. You'll notice that there are no students yet. So in order to add students, I'm going to click on the Add Student button. What that will do now is take me to all the students for a particular grade at Shabazz. And in fact, since both grades 9 and 10 are available, you'll see that both grades 9 and 10 students are listed. You may want to show more than 30 students. At this point, I also want to point out that you'll see PNP, a little blue icon after the name of some students. This means that for some reason they have a personal needs profile, usually associated with an IEP, that will allow them, for instance, extra time to have portions read to them, etc. You may want to, as I said at the beginning, keep those students separate or in similar and like groups so that the test sessions are much more easily managed. But I'm going to click on 4 students today, all of them 9th graders. And we're going to then say, okay, those 4 I wanted to put in this first session, I'm going to click on Done. I'm done selecting students or adding students. So once I've done that, it takes me back to the test session details page, and you'll notice that the students are present here. It tells me that they're scheduled to test, that they have not answered any questions. This is a place for comments, but it also gives me their username and password. This is what will appear on the ticket for each of the students. Now, one of the things I want to do is I could go through that entire process for each of the 5 sections of the test: reading, English, writing, math, and science. But that takes a lot longer than by just going through and copying this. However, before I start copying, I want to just double check things. So I've got over here the information, the students. One of the things that I have not done yet is create a list of who can proctor this test, who has access to this screen. And right now, just myself, who has been the one who created it, has access to this. I can find a list of all those who have permission. And if you have already invited your staff to this particular page, they will be there. If not, you can invite them by clicking on the invite button. It'll ask, who do you want to create or invite as a room supervisor or proctor? Submit that. They'll appear on the list. You add them, and their name will appear here. There's no minimum number. There's no maximum number of people who can appear on this list. So for instance, if you have a room that's going to be proctored for students with IEPs, you might have 5 or 6 people who could proctor it. And on the day of the test, only 1 person or 2 people are there. That's fine. You've given them enough permission. So I've ensured that I've got people who can use this site and who are able to proctor the test. I've got my students in place, and now I'm going to copy all of this over. So you'll notice that when I pull up copy test session, it starts with grade 5. This is because the Aspire test is a grade 3 through 10 test. So I'm going to search for early high school tests, and I just typed in early in the search box. You'll notice that it now has brought up 4 other assessments, 4 other areas, content areas that are here to be tested. So I'm going to take each one of them. Yes, they're the high school science, math, reading, and writing. So in addition to the English, that's the 5 tests that Aspire comprises. I'm going to click on the online mode. You'll notice that it pops up the same window. And now I need to name this. So using my same protocol, Shabazz City High School, GR9. This one is science, and it is session 1. I'm going to click on the next box. Same thing. I'm going to go and name each one of these. This happens to be math, session 1. Scrolling down, I'm going to do the same thing for reading. Shabazz City High School, grade 9, reading 1. And finally, the writing component. When I'm finished with this, I am now telling it to copy all of those over and create additional sections with these same students, only for each of the subtests. So here is a list of and progress for making these sessions. By clicking on the status button, you can now see that these are complete. And I'm going to go back to summative tests, find my tests, and we'll see what we have. So here we have math, reading, science, and writing. I need to change one of these, this particular one, to English so that we don't get mixed up. And I have to go back down here to the name, English, and then save that. So you can edit these. If you suddenly get, understand that something is wrong, you want to edit the names, you can certainly do that. So here we have, again, everything is all set, ready to go. This is the point at which you would stop creating sessions when you've got all the students complete. If you want to look for students to see that you have them, this happens to be in the, I'm going to go back to a different session. Let's just find out. Let's click on math. I want to see if there's anyone who remains to be added to sessions. Simply go to Add Students. I'm going to show all students. You'll notice that those that are added to sessions have a little check in front of them, and they will not allow me to click on those to put them into sessions. So that would be one way to ensure that I've got all the students accounted for at a particular grade level at a particular school. So finally, I'm just going to go back and double check that I've got all my test sessions set up. They're scheduled. There are 4 students in each one, and I would end up being ready for testing. So this is what you need to do in order to get your session set up for the Aspire test that is soon to happen in a school near you.